As you can see, today we are going to talk about shipping a little bit. I have a bunch of stuff going out today. I had a bunch of stuff go out yesterday. And I wanted to kind of talk a little more about shipping companies because now that Morph Market has sort of gotten into the game, um, it maybe raised a little bit of people's opinions. What are they doing getting into the game now? After there's pretty much three major established companies. This girl's actually one of the girls going out tonight. This beautiful pastel DG girl. And the first thing that I want to say is I don't have any skin in the game with any of these shipping companies. I'm not sponsored by anybody. I don't sponsor anybody. I have just always shopped around and looked for the best combination of pricing and service. Now, I've been shipping since, I don't know if I actually shipped anything in 2019, but I've definitely been shipping since 2020. And anybody that was selling snakes in 2020, whether you've been doing it for 20 years or 1 year, you know that it was a giant disaster because of COVID. Packages weren't arriving on time routinely. Sometimes they were late a day, sometimes they were late 2 days. And I think the biggest thing I learned through that, most people learn through that, is you need to ship to hub only. Shipping to homes isn't safe. So that's the number one thing that I've learned. And these are all the rules I live by when I'm shipping. And I'll go into why this is important when you're choosing your shipping provider. The second thing I've learned is I check Redline's website, I check Ship Your Reptiles website, and I check Reptiles Express website before I ship anything out on any given day, because they usually have a banner at the top of the page that says, hey, you should or shouldn't ship today. Insurance is on or off today. And that'll tell you whether or not you should be shipping your snake. They'll tell you if there's delays in the FedEx system, if there are severe weather problems causing issues all over the place. So that's the second thing I check. Typically, since we're past COVID and those crazy shipping delays that were basically happening all over the world aren't really a problem anymore, your package, your snake should arrive safely the next day without any trouble, as long as you're following the safest way of shipping and following any alerts that are provided to you that day. Now, I started off shipping with Ship Your Reptiles, and then after I think a year or two, and I don't know why, and I'm always shopping for the best price on something. For some reason, I didn't do this, and then I started looking at Reptiles Express, and the prices on Reptiles Express were a lot less expensive than Ship Your Reptiles. And when Redline came along, I checked their prices, and they still were not as good as Reptiles Express's shipping prices. Now, I've also shipped so much stuff through Reptiles Express that I have one of their discounts. Like, they give you discounts of 5%, 10%, 15%, 20%, depending on how much money you've spent with them over the course of you being a customer of theirs. And I think I'm at 15% already. Then I've spent like tens of thousands of dollars, I think, on shipping, I believe, at this point. Or at least $10,000 or something crazy that gives me a 15% blanket discount on all my shipping labels. Now, their customer service has been fine. I haven't had any issues with it. I think I've only really had to contact them once or twice, and they got back to me within a couple hours, or within an hour, I should say. And the same thing happened with Ship Your Reptiles when I used to use them. I actually used them during COVID, and they were very good at contacting FedEx and getting a hold of those people. And I think that's the biggest thing you're buying when you're buying labels from these shipping companies, is you're buying their ability to make contact with somebody at FedEx, so that if there is an issue with your delivery, if it's delayed, if it's stuck somewhere, they can get a hold of the right person, getting them to get that package to where it needs to be. The caveat with all of that, and I think this is where the whole Morph Market shipping comes into place, is I haven't had a delay in shipping in years at this point. Maybe I'm lucky, but I follow those rules that I kind of live by with shipping. Is that I only ship to hubs, and I only ship when Redline and Ship Your Reptiles and Reptiles Express all say that it's safe to ship. The temperatures are okay on my end and on the my customer's end, and there's no crazy weather patterns at any of the hubs, Indianapolis or Memphis. If you follow all of those things, unless there's some crazy random act of God, like the Memphis FedEx hub catches fire overnight, there's no reason for your package to not get to where it's supposed to be. And 99% of my packages that I've shipped out haven't had to have any shipping companies intervene and to have to contact FedEx on my behalf. So as far as Morph Market goes, obviously they just started this. Their customer service is kind of an unknown. We don't know what their contacts are inside of the FedEx system. Obviously, Morph Market has a very wide grasp of the industry. So I would assume or hope that if they are starting to offer the service, that if there is an emergency, that they are able to contact somebody at FedEx. Come on, don't choke me out like the guy yesterday. That they're able to contact somebody at FedEx that they have a connection with and rectify the issue pretty quick. And that's kind of the biggest issue most of us kind of see. Go around the back. If you're going to choke me, go around the back. Don't come around the front, please. And so that's kind of what I'm looking at this like. Now, in terms of pricing, and yes, pricing does make a big difference. It doesn't matter who you buy a label from. It doesn't matter if it's Reptiles Express, Ship Your Reptiles, Redline, or Morph Market. They all use the same service, but they're all charging you drastically different amounts of money. And that's the part that should play a major factor into who you're choosing to ship with. Right now I am a pro member because Morph Market, I wasn't always pro, I was like the level below pro. And I decided to go pro because they were giving some sort of discount earlier in the year. But currently, with their beta testing of shipping, they're giving 65% off of labels. Now, retail prices of labels and saying you get 65% off is sort of a silly. I'm going to put her back because I can't really focus on what I'm talking about with her moving so much. Them saying, oh, it's 65% off. Everybody says that. Everybody says, oh, it's a certain percent off of what retail is. And it is, but like nobody's paying retail for it at this point. So for them to say, oh, you're saving 65%, it's not a really accurate figure. However, yesterday when I went to go ship out those 5 boxes that I had, the difference in price, label to label, was like $20 to $30 per box in terms of shipping. So I ended up spending like just under $200 to ship everything I shipped yesterday, whereas it probably would have ended up costing me $100, $150 more to ship those same boxes. And I think the way it's worded on a Morph Market is if you have a pro membership, you're going to keep that 65% label discount forever, but it's only active for everybody on Morph Market for a brief period of time while it's in beta. So, to me, if you're saving 20, 30, 40 bucks on every single label and you're shipping out 50 things a year, it's thousands of dollars that you're saving by using Morph Market service if you're a pro member. And that's huge. That makes it a lot easier for me as a business to offer free shipping more often, or be a little more okay with negotiating free shipping into the cost of a snake. Because, and this is the thing that I go back to all the time, and when some of you yahoos that send in messages on inquiries on snakes and lowball the shit out of it, this is the thing you don't realize. So it took me however long it was to raise this snake, and this is the same thing with everybody that's a breeder. it takes you forever to raise this snake up, right? Or to breed the snake and produce the babies that you're selling. You got to feed it, you got to house it, whatever. I usually do a pretty good job of moving inventory fast. I don't like these snakes sitting in here for a half a year to a year. I usually have them sold with them being 3 months old. But I still got to house them and feed them for those 3 months. But here are all the extra fees that come along with these snakes. You have the shipping. Typically, you're not shipping anything out for less than $50. Sometimes it's $100, sometimes it's $150. Depends where you live in the country. Depends on where you're shipping to in the country, how big the box is, how heavy the box is, etc. So you're between 50, I would say on average $75 per box, or plus you have to buy the box, buy the shipping labels that you're printing them on, or use the printer ink, whatever, the packaging materials, any swag you're putting in there. So let's just say on average it's $75 to ship a snake. If you're paying by credit card, Square takes like 3.3%. I have to pay sales tax in Pittsburgh of 7%. So on every single time I sell a snake and I use a credit card system, I am docked 10% of that sale. If I don't use a credit card system, it's 7%, so it's not a huge difference. So if I sell a $1,000 snake and 10% comes off the top immediately with a credit card purchase, I'm down to $900. If I'm giving you free shipping, I'm down to most likely $825. And then obviously, this is everybody's issue, but you're also paying income tax. Income tax on this, which is what 20-30%. So that snake that you're selling for $1,000, you're quickly only making $600 on, maybe, after all the fees and taxes and everything are kind of factored into it. So my whole thing was, and why I switched from Ship Your Reptiles to Reptiles Express a couple years back, is because they actually ended up saving me a ton of money on shipping. And I didn't see any difference in customer service, and I really don't have to use customer service. I'm basically just buying labels because I'm responsible with how I'm shipping my snakes, that I really don't need the shipping company, the middleman, to really intervene with anything. It's all me based on how smart I am and the rules I put in place for when and where I'm going to ship these snakes. So if Morph Market comes into the scene and they're saving me another 20-30% off the price of a shipping label, I am 110% going to be buying my shipping labels through them. I don't care how nice anybody is in any other shipping company. When you're running a business, it makes a huge difference when your costs drop by 20, 30, or 40%, especially when everybody's shipping stuff now. And that could mean hundreds of dollars a week. That could mean thousands of dollars a year that you're saving in shipping costs if you're buying the best, if you're getting the best pricing on those shipping labels. I think all these companies probably need to be a little more competitive, because if you were to go look at a label from Ship Your Reptiles now and do the same label through Morph Market, I guarantee you there's up to a $40 or $50 difference in price, which is insane. There's on a per label basis, there's no way that Ship Your Reptiles customer service is worth that. I guarantee it, because that's a lot of labels being printed every day. And 99% of those labels, Ship Your Reptiles isn't even offering customer service on. So you're just paying that premium. It's like buying insurance, health insurance, life insurance. You're paying this premium for something that you're probably never going to need. And it adds up. And this is one of those things where, it's not life insurance. You buy life insurance to, prepare. It's in the case of a crazy accident, your family's taken care of for life, right? This is something where this is one label. My insurance premium for me and my wife is $50 a month. My life insurance. That gets us each $500,000 in life insurance. So if we both died tomorrow, our kids would get $1 million. And I pay $50 a month for that. There is no way in hell that you shipping a snake from one service to the other and paying a $50 premium on one label is worth it. It is not worth it. So the pricing from these companies really needs to kind of consolidate a little bit. There's too much disparity from top to bottom, and that's why if Morph Market doesn't give me any issues and they continue to keep the same pricing they're going to have, that's who's taking my money. This is like, to me, shipping is just a cost. Obviously, you can't get around it. I have literally contacted customer service once in the last 3 years. You don't need it if you're shipping when it's safe to do it. So, from somebody who has no skin in the game, that doesn't sponsor and isn't sponsored by any of these shipping companies, you really just need to do your research and look at who is providing you with the best pricing on this stuff. Unless customer service from Morph Market turns out to be complete shit show and they're just piss poor and they're, having snakes die left and right because they're not providing customer service to get these things off the tarmac if they're stuck, there's no reason to not use them. So, I'm okay using them now because, again, it doesn't matter which company you're buying labels from. They all use the same FedEx service. If you buy from Redline or if you buy from Morph Market, they all use FedEx the same way. The only difference is the contacts that Redline or Morph Market has within the FedEx company to get these packages moving. So think about it, research it yourself. I think you'll be surprised at what the difference is in pricing from one company to the other one, and it will get you thinking about changing who you're shipping with.